Fideo is a simple yet wonderful pasta that's been around for centuries. Plus, it's a very economical way to feed a whole family, and it's such a great comfort food. In this video, I'll walk you through one of the recipes that my mom has used for years. I'll be using fresh, coarse ground brisket, but you can use any kind of ground beef that you like. And remember what I say, ain't no right way or wrong way. You can add more or less veggies or other ingredients that you like as well. Now in this dish today, we'll be using 1/4 of a white onion, 1 Roma tomato, 1/4 of a green bell pepper, 1/3 of a cup of tomato sauce, 1/2 teaspoon of peppercorns, 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, 1 whole garlic clove, 1 Serrano pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of OG, which is salt, pepper, and garlic, and 1 teaspoon of Knorr Caldo de Pollo. Let's get the stove fired up and start cooking this amazing dish. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to brown the Fideo, then I'm going to set it aside, and you can put your stove at a pretty good medium to high heat to do the browning process. Alright, our oil is getting nice and hot, about 2 tablespoons, and my mom's been using this brand since I was a kid, as long as I can remember. This is the one we use. So we're going to use 1 whole box. It's like my mom's rice. You want to get it a little bit toasty. That brings out an extra flavor, really good aroma. I can smell it already, and we just got started. Yeah, it gets brown pretty quick, as you can see here. And you got to keep stirring, stirring, and stirring so you don't burn it. And you don't have to brown it completely, like not every single strand of Fideo has to be totally brown. You just want to get some of it over here. All right, it's looking nice and gold and pretty. We're going to pull it off so that it doesn't over brown, because remember the pan is still hot, and it's going to continue to brown a little bit. All right, we're going to bring this one up to temp now, and we're going to go ahead and get our ground brisket in there and give it a really nice hot sear. Okay, we're fixing to add our meat. This is 1 pound of ground brisket. Whoo-wee! I like the sound of that sizzle. It's going to stick a little bit on the bottom. Don't fret, don't worry. It's going to release a little bit of moisture and a little bit of fat. It's going to be great. Sticky stuff on the bottom is gone now. It all got loose. So don't fret if the pan is sticking a little bit. See, even without the salt, added salt in there, you're still going to have some water coming out of that meat. Okay, that meat's all nice and brown. It's time to add the onions and the bell peppers, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw that serrano in there too, and let's get this stuff going. This is gonna be great. Ah man, you can smell that onion. It smells fantastic. All right, let's give it a couple minutes. There's no exact perfect time. It really depends on how much meat you have in there, depends on how hot your pan is. Just kind of eyeball it, keep an eye on it. You can see here that there's a lot more water coming out of the meat. That's why you want it on high heat, so that it'll cook quicker. You want to try and sear that meat at least a little bit. All right, now that our meat's cooking and we have the onion and the bell peppers in there, I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on here, because I want those onions to get soft and I want the bell pepper to get soft as well. Let's see what it looks like under here. You can see that the ground beef doesn't have a whole lot more water anymore. Even with the lid on, it evaporated around the edges, but the onions are nice and soft. The bell pepper's nice and soft. So all that flavor's in there. I'm gonna open up a little hole right here in the middle. I like the tomatoes at the end so that there's still a little bit of texture in them at the end. So we drop those in there. All right, we're gonna drop our spices right here in the middle. I wanna get all of that stuff in there. There we go. I'm gonna put a teaspoon also of the Knorr Caldo de Pollo. This is a chicken flavored bouillon. This adds an extra little pop. If you guys could have smell-o-rama. I always talk about that. Let's incorporate that all together now. And we're also gonna add the tomato sauce as well. That's about 1/3 of a cup. And we're gonna incorporate all of this together. All right, so this is all nice, incorporated. We're gonna throw the Fideo in here, add our chicken stock. It's already nice and hot. We heated it up at the same time, and this is 3 cups. We're gonna add a little bit more water. That's about another cup, more or less, because that Fideo is gonna soak up some of that water, and you want it to be a little soupy. We call that sopa. Sopa de Fideo. So we actually used 1 pound of ground beef to 5 ounces of vermicelli. It's quite a bit of meat, more than most people probably like in their Fideo, but we're carnivores in my house, so we like extra beef. All right, before I put the lid on it, I'm gonna give this a little taste test just to see how much OG I need to put in here. Ooh, that tastes good. You need salt though. All right, so we're gonna take some OG here. This is my salt. This also has a little more garlic and a little bit more black pepper. And I think a tablespoon might be much. So we're gonna go with about a half a tablespoon. Don't put too much up front because you can't take it out once it's in there. You can always add a little bit more. You can also salt to taste once it's in your bowl as well. All right, I'm gonna put the lid on it and then we'll check it back in just a couple of minutes. We're trying to get it to simmer. It's been right at 16 minutes, but I'm gonna take a quick look at it. It should be done. Right on point. Yep, it looks nice. You can tell because it's translucent. It probably needs about another 5 minutes, but when you're using a pan like this, a big old heavy cast iron pan, it retains the heat a lot longer than a thin pan. So I'm gonna turn it off anyway, and I'm gonna let it finish cooking with the heat that the pan and the lid have. In the meantime, we decided we're gonna make some homemade corn tortillas. How's that? Ooh-wee. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, baby, that looks good. Fantastic. I'm gonna pour me a nice bowl. This is one of our favorite comfort foods. I am gonna take my Serrano pepper in there too. This is fantastic, man. Corn tortillas are the best for this kind of dish right here. It actually sat for about 10 minutes after we turned off the heat. You can see that it soaks up a little extra moisture and it gets nice and plump, but it sure looks beautiful. All right, let's give it a taste. Oh, baby, that's so good. I did add another teaspoon of OG. Like I said earlier, salt is to taste, so it just really depends on how salty you want the dish, but wow, this is amazing. This is the way you do it, folks. A spoonful of Fideo and a bite of Serrano. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Honey, you're gonna like it. This stuff is so good. My mama taught me how to do this. She's not here today. This is awesome. I'm gonna say it's just as good as hers. It might even be better than hers, but don't tell her I said that. Some make it with nothing at all. We make it with nothing at all a lot of times, just as a quick little meal. It's so amazing. Oh, baby. That is so good. I guarantee you this cool month's coming on, we're gonna be making a lot of fideo with picadillo. But we had a really good time doing this for you guys. We hope you get some value. I sure hope you try this, and if you do, go ahead and make a comment and let us know what you thought about the dish. I think you're gonna fall in love with it just like we are in love with it too. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. And if you're interested in our OG, this is really our kitchen rub for everything. You can get that at pitmaster.us. So if you want to kick everything up another notch, you can put some wow and give it a little wow factor. We've really had a great time doing it for you. Keep the smoke light, make it work, and a wow kind of day. This is fantastic. I mean, just fantastic. Actually, the reason we always have chicken stock is because our puppy loves chicken. This is something we used to feed our kids when they were little. They loved it. We really had a fun time making it for you guys. Thank God that there's editing. What a mess, Arnulfo. Make sure y'all edit that stuff out. Thank God that there's editing. Cut that part. And that's how it's supposed to be, nice and jiggly like that. Nice and jiggly. Nice and jiggly, that's what you want. Yeah, it'll be perfect.